During the most recent Monster Hunter livestream, Capcom dropped an absolute content nuke on us, and then said, but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
In today's video, I'll be discussing all new and updated info regarding the Monster Hunter Wilds Open Beta 2. And if you'd like to see an entire breakdown like this for the full launch, please let me know in the comments. First up, we know we'll be able to hunt a returning monster from the series, Gypceros, a monster that can stun you with its flash like the Tzitziyaku from Monster Hunter World. I was expecting another monster alongside this, but I was not expecting the Big Daddy himself, the flagship monster of Wilds, Arkveld. This monster, that was previously known as the White Wraith, was not only put on full display for all to see, but will also be available to hunt in this upcoming Open Beta 2. In order to fight the Gypceros and Arkveld, we will need to complete the Doshiguma hunt one time. Then after completion, upon returning to camp, speak to Alma. Then this will unlock both of these hunts as a high difficulty quest. After completing the Arkveld hunt one time, we will be able to find the Arkveld roaming the Windward Plains, but its spawn rate will be very infrequent. So if you see a pop-up saying the Arkveld has spawned, rally your hunting party and jump on his forehead. Some really cool info regarding the Arkveld that was displayed in this most recent trailer was a bit of a longer turf war with a Raid Dao, as previously we only saw a very quick snippet of this in a previous trailer, but also the Arkveld has the power to in some way drain the powers and or elements of other monsters, either by defeating them itself or however else it may achieve this. It seems like this may also power up the Arkveld, not only enraging it, but also giving it potentially new abilities and AoE attacks to use. This is going to be incredibly interesting to face head on in the Open Beta 2, as previously the hardest thing to face in the last Open Beta was Raid Dao, and now Arkveld can quite literally steal its power and use it against us. In other news, we know that we'll be given the ability to use a full-fledged training area, a place where we can test out the wound mechanic and dodge or block barrels that will fly at you to test your movement. This area is exclusively for solo play, and you'll be able to practice with all the different weapons Wilds has to offer. In addition, you will automatically revive if you faint, and the amount of consumable items you hold will not decrease. We will also be given the ability to host private lobbies for up to 16 players that all have the lobby ID. We will also be able to join solo online play. For any of the hunters out there that wanted to challenge these monsters by themselves but couldn't because randoms kept joining, or whatever the case, now you'll finally be able to test your mettle all on your own if you want. Of course, in this second open beta, character creation and all features of the previous beta will be available, just in case you didn't play during that time, and this Open Beta 2 begins on February 6th at 7 p.m. Pacific, and it will run until February 9th, ending at 6:59 p.m. There will also be a second instance to this open beta where you can play starting on February 13th, also at 7 p.m. Pacific, and ending on February 16th at 6:59 p.m. During this entire open beta, I will be streaming every single day with full open lobbies, no matter if you're playing on Xbox Series X or S, PlayStation 5, or PC through Steam. If you want to set a reminder for these streams, I'll have the first two linked in the description down below, and once you've made it to the stream, there will be a button in the bottom left of the screen that says Notify Me. You should end up getting a notification for these streams 1 hour before they start if you click Notify Me. On top of all of this, there is also a benchmark available for Steam players that want to test their specs and get a full diagnostic for average and overall FPS at different quality settings, which is also linked in the description, and it has a 25GB download size. For the full launch of Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam, the minimum spec requirements are Windows 10, a processor of an Intel Core i5-10400 or Intel Core i3-12100 or an AMD Ryzen 5 3600, 16GB of RAM, a graphics card of an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 with 6GB of VRAM, or an AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT with 8GB of VRAM. Wilds will be using DirectX version 12, and no matter what, you are required to have an SSD in order to play the game. These minimum specs are expected to run Wilds at 1080p, upscaled from 720 native resolution, 30 FPS under the lowest graphics. The recommended specs share the same processor and RAM, but for the graphics card, you're going to want an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Super with 8GB of VRAM, or an AMD Radeon RX 6600 with 8GB of VRAM. These recommended specs are expected to run Wilds at 1080p 60 with frame generation enabled under the medium graphics. Wilds is also expected to have a download size of 75GB. Lastly, I would like to mention that I am hosting one final hurrah for Monster Hunter World on PC starting on February 24th at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. quick. Every hunter on PC is more than welcome to join, and this stream will last 8 hours, as this will be the final time that I play Monster Hunter World before Wilds releases. I hope this quick breakdown on all things Wilds Open Beta 2 was helpful. Your time is incredibly valuable, so thank you very much for spending any of it watching and or listening to me explain all things Open Beta 2 for Wilds, and I will catch you in the Windward Plains. Have an awesome rest of your day, hunters.